Well, I'm live, guys. First time I've done this in a while. And I figured out how to get my orientation on my camera. Finally. It was kind of confusing the way it's set up on my phone. I don't know how many will come aboard, but we'll sit here and we'll wait. And we'll see what happens. It's 7:24, I think, a.m. I think this is Tuesday. What day of the week is this? Say, what day of the week is this?
Wednesday.
Wednesday? Oh, it's Wednesday. I'm doing live. Yeah. I don't have no viewers yet, but that's okay. The reason I'm doing a live, I'm hoping if I have some audience that you'll have some questions and I'll try my best to answer. Well, we got our first viewer on board. Welcome aboard. Well, hello, Terry. Thanks for coming on board. From Baltimore, Maryland. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever been to Baltimore or not. I'm trying to think. Maybe, but somewhere, maybe the airport or something like that. I can't remember. It's been too many years. So we got two viewers. Welcome aboard. If you have any questions, I'd be glad to try to answer. It's good to see you. Well, I started to say good to see you, Tori, but I don't see you. Yeah, this is Jose from Allentown, Pennsylvania. Welcome aboard. Well, I feel you're probably correct. I've had such an enjoyable life here, and it soon will be 15 years. As of January 1, make my 15th year here. I'm going to be open for any questions, and if I can give you an honest answer, I will. This is I was thinking about a live stream this morning, and I'm trying to figure out what would be a good time, and I thought maybe this time of day might be a good choice. Third viewer online, welcome aboard. You want to say hello to the audience? I just asked Grace if she wanted to say hello. I figured you might want to say hello. People want to know if you're still with me or not. I thought you might have left me.
Hi. You're live.
Yeah, live.
I can see it in the...
Yeah, well, I've got it broadcasting on my TV so I can see when people message me. Well, thank you, Terry. Um, yeah, the multi-cabs, I have gained a vast knowledge. Some of it's from prior experiences in life. I knew the basics, and the only problem here with working on anything is they don't go by part numbers. They have to see the part visually. And what happened here? I guess I'm still broadcasting. My phone screen went
You
blank.
need to.
There we go. Anyway, they don't go by part numbers, and they do by visual looking at the parts. And that was hard to get used to. Especially if you know you had to take a part that would put your vehicle out of commission, even though it would still function with the old part. And you may have to be waiting quite some time to get that part. So that's okay. Grace has many things she needs to do.
Will I wash the dishes?
Well, from my experiences with other people coming in, they prefer the Clark Airport. Even though it's more travel time into Manila itself, they just prefer the convenience of the Clark Airport. I've never flown into there, so I can't give you an honest opinion. The only time I've been to Manila Airport, 15 years ago, and it was a nightmare. But I'm sure it's changed since then. Are you planning on going anywhere else besides the Manila area? Well, good for you, Jeff. I'd like to. Hopefully, if you come anywhere near Negroes, maybe we can hook up. See, February is my anniversary month, me and Grace. So I don't know what our plans are at this time. I'm sure we end up doing something. Yeah, if anybody has any questions, let me try to get my camera a little more angled here. There we go. If anybody has any questions, I'd be glad to do my best to answer. Oh, okay. So you're going to, is she from the Metro Manila, or is she a province girl? If you wonder what all the background noise is, we're still in the midst of the remodeling or renovation of the downstairs. We're turning it into a similar to a studio apartment for Grace's mom and sister. Uh, Personally, here, that's debatable. Now, some people have had success with real estate, but me, personally, no. I don't care if I had millions of dollars to throw anywhere I want to. That's one market I would stay out of because there's too many things that can go wrong here in the Philippines with real estate. Now, some people have been successful. Don't get me wrong on that. But me personally, from what I've viewed and the things I've seen people go through, it's a tough thing to do here in the Philippines. I'd recommend if you plan on doing something like that, make sure you acquire a good real estate lawyer. Someone that knows his business and get some referrals and references. Ah, thank you very much. Yeah, our chicken farm is doing much better. Yeah, real estate is just too much. I don't know why what I can do without the camera on my phone. It save battery that way. Might be a good idea if y'all give me just a moment. I didn't think about it. I think my battery might be getting low. Would I do chicken farm again? I would do a little more research, but I definitely would. Thank you very much, Asia and Pina. Thank you. I enjoy my chickens. I've got almost 50 baby chicks at the moment with fresh hatch. Probably all, I think the oldest is about maybe a week old, and I got one that's almost a month old. It was the first one born, and there was a time frame before any more started. And I've got finally getting to increase my black astronaut, which I lost from the original purchase. I lost 2/3 of it. And this is all due to something I was unaware of. I thought it was just something I brought in with the chickens or whatever, a disease. But come find out, I've got a rat problem. And I got 4 new cages that we just put out yesterday, I think. And my helper that helps with the chicken coop, she showed me a rat this morning in the cage. And my God, I think I bought cages too small. I swear that thing is big, or pretty close to the size of a cat. Huh. And I'm pretty confident what happened to those chickens. They were eating the droppings off the rats, and that's why they were getting sick. Now, we've not lost any adult chickens in quite some time. And we're not using the pullet pen anymore until we get this rat problem under control. We're letting our chicks get big enough before they can get on the roost on their own, and before we introduce them to the flock. And that's the way it's going to be. My original plan that we've been working with was we have a pullet pen that we put chicks that are usually about a month old in there, and we let them run loose in there till they get big enough to start roosting until they're about 2.5 months old. Then we introduce them to the flock. And we're losing quite a few of them. And it was all due to, I'm quite positive, to the rats now. And to be honest with you, the chickens to me are more of a hobby than anything. Something I enjoy. Pullet pen is where you put young chickens that's usually about a month old. And young chicks are, when they're got their feathers, full feathers, are called pullets. And that's why we call it a pullet pen. Well, to be honest with you, when I was a boy, my grandparents raised me, and we raised animals and farmed to survive. That's how I got my knowledge. In those early years of my life. We rarely went to town to the grocery at that time. A couple times a year, maybe 3 at the most, to buy like flour and lard and not a lot of lard because we rendered our own a lot from the pigs, and coffee and sugar, things of that nature and buy it in large quantities. That's that's what we did when I was a boy. Because they will, to be honest with you, they get bullied. Chickens have a what they call an order, especially with the hens. They get a pecking order, and if they're real young, they get bullied by the older hens. Now, when they get older, they still get bullied, but they can take care of themselves. But when they're young and can't get up on the roost, they get injured and so forth. Now, if you're raising uh, brooder hens, the mother hen will protect them. But with these herded chickens, they don't make good brooders. They oh, you missed out on a lot, Terry. Uh, I don't mean any disrespect, but there's just so much to learn in rural life. That's beyond a lot of people's comprehension when they've not experienced it. I've experienced city life, and some of it good and some of it not so good. Some things I don't like personally. It's nothing negative. It just I don't like the crowds. I don't like the congestion and the noise, and especially here in the Philippines, the city is the temperature is much hotter and humidity. When we lived in the city, I swear it was unbearable. Really, I couldn't enjoy the outside life because of the heat from all the concrete. Also, mosquitoes are worse. I've noticed that, and flies. Here, I don't have near the fly and mosquito problem. If I'm not mistaken, that's more of a province, but it's a large city, not a super large city, but it's actually a tourist destination point there in Luzon. Uh, it's got a lot to offer. I've never been. Uh, I just trying to place it out in my head where it's actually located. But I've seen pictures and reviews on it and so forth, and it's all been positive. So you may enjoy that area extremely well. I meant to get my microphones out this morning and forgot. I was fiddling with the camera trying to get it set up to where it wouldn't be a up and down thing. And I apologize if I'm real slang. It's hard for you to understand me. I'm a hillbilly from the Appalachian Mountains, and that's the way I am. For all you do, everybody that's aboard, thank you so much for being here. Yeah, we're here. I've actually can be on the beach about 15, 20 minutes. Could be faster if it wasn't for the dirt road. I'm almost 3 miles from the highway, and it's only 5 minutes once I hit the highway to a nice beach. And our creek out here, there's nothing big enough to make a swimming hole. Locals call it a river, but it's really, to me, it's a creek. Thank you. Thank you, Terry. No, I've been slow about doing videos here due to being so busy for one thing. Second, I got cellulitis again and getting it under control. It's under control now. I've been taking antibiotics. Grace is making sure I get it every 6 hours. Uh, just wonderful to have someone that actually wants to take care of you. And plus the renovations and dealing with the chickens and oh, speaking of busy and not doing videos, well, thank you, Terry. But yesterday I had a bad experience. Grace and I was on our way to school because it was Virgil's Christmas party. And we had made plans around that, all this scheduling stuff to pick up some supplies for the upcoming Christmas deal that we're doing. Right now I'm doing fiber. My cellular modem is down. I don't know what's up with it. I just bought a new one and it's went on the brink. But anyway, yesterday we had made all these arrangements stuff. On the way out, well, I've been all over West Virginia, and you're right, it's beautiful. I live right on the West Virginia borders where I'm actually from, Pikeville, Kentucky. It's on the hill, and we border Virginia and West Virginia. As far east in Kentucky as you can go. Anyway, yesterday on the way out, there's a little stream that crosses the road, and when I went through that stream, I hit a rock and I cut a sidewall on one of my tires. Well, I can't use my spare because it's a 12-inch tire and I'm 13-inch wheels. Now you say, well, you can get by with it for a short period of time. Not with an all-wheel drive. It will actually bind the system up and put extreme pressure on it, could even possibly damage. That's why you have, when you do tire replacement on those vehicles, all-wheel drive, if the tires are, say, you got 20,000 miles or so on them, you need to replace all four because you will be changing the height of the tire between, say, if you just put two on, between the rear or front, and you're changing the gear ratios just slightly, which will put pressure on it. And over time, you can damage transmission, transfer case, and other components. So I had to do a set of tires yesterday at a bad time. And to be honest with you, it's not good. It really put a downswing on everything here. But we'll survive, don't worry. Oh, we got 10 people on board. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, 9 people now. Yeah, we got looks like we're clouding up. Still comfortable temperature here. I say it's right at 80 degrees, 78 to 80, somewhere in that area. To me, it feels a little cool, but I'm sure most of y'all, it feels quite warm. Yeah, well, I was asked about my cellular service right now. It's not too good. Thank you, Terry. Now, if it'd been 4-wheel drive, you can get by with it. Because you can take it out of 4-wheel drive. You're not going to have the issue with the the ratios. You'd be okay as long as you're not on hard surfaces if you're using four-wheel drive. But in my case, my all-wheel drive, even when I make a deep turn, I've got axle wrap in the front. You can feel it. And for those who are familiar with that, that's when you can feel the inner wheel kind of hop when you're making a deep turn, like doing a circle. That's another thing too. I've had to replace the CV joints on the front, and before I could find new ones, I had actually replaced them 2 times because all I could get was used parts, and those used parts got the mileage on them. Swimming hole, Terry. Actually, we got a beach nearby. I can be there within about 20 minutes. Good place to go, good clean beach. Got a good area for us locals. It's free except for the if you want cottages. It's cheap. I think about $3, something like that, for a cottage for a whole day. And here, my creek, I don't have any area that I'm aware of that would make a good swimming hole. Besides, I don't know if I want to or not. Because you got farm animals and so forth, and people doing dishes and taking baths and one thing or another. You'd be surprised how many locals don't have running water. That's another thing too. We're putting in a second CR. Which will be very convenient. Of course, it's going to be downstairs. It'll be part of the renovations that we're doing down there. As I mentioned earlier, turn it into similar to a studio apartment. We're going to have a kitchenette, a small living area, bedroom, a bathroom, CR as they call it here. Be quite accommodating. That's for Grace's mom and sister. Yeah, we're back up to 10 viewers. Thank you. Thank you. The sun's peeping out, as you can see in the background here, getting bright. Well, I'll be honest with you, Terry. The reason I don't go in, I limit my exposure to a lot of people. At my age, I'm 68, and my immune system is not the best in the world. I try to do the best I can without catching any severe colds, flus, and so forth. That's the main reason. And it's not done in English. That's another reason. I don't know what they're saying. Because my limited vocabulary of their local language is very limited. I know a few words and would recognize it. But it'd be difficult. Now, I have been on special occasions in the church, by the way. But it would mainly be when I know it's not crowded. Thank you. That's another thing too. Grace is highly religious, and she respects my choices. She doesn't try to force me into the church, and I appreciate that. and she understands why I keep my distance, because I don't even go in the malls very rarely. When I do, I try to go when the least amount of people are there. Now, this time of year, it'd be odd for me to go in a mall unless it's in a situation where I need to go to the bathroom, and then that's just a quick in and out. Uh, the local hardware, it's normally not crowded, so I will go in there. It's called City Hardware. But, there's another reason I don't go into the malls too is because, well, I got a prior back injury. As I've gotten older, the worse it is getting. I spend a lot of time on my legs in that hard concrete. It gets pretty painful. No, no, she's very conservative. Grace is the very reason we have a house that's paid for, our vehicle's paid for. Everything's paid for except our refrigerator. We had to replace it. Uh, if you're going on alone here in the Philippines, you should be fairly safe. Can't think of any place you would not be safe, uh, unless you go into the far south in Mindanao. Um, some of those areas are declared unsafe, but in general, you should not have a problem. And if you're smart and you be aware of your surroundings, uh, you won't have no issues. You just be cautious and be smart. Don't be out alone at 1 a.m. in an area you shouldn't be. It's pretty simple. I've not had no issues. I've been here, like I said, soon be 15 years. And I live in a place here in the province. I have no fences. I have no gates, no bars on my windows. I have all this stuff sitting outside, and I've never lost an item here. I met one a couple of years ago, Mark Shoemate. I don't know if you remember him or not. Uh, and he actually had been to my house several times. And of course, he passed away. Yeah, me and him. I really missed being around Mark. He was a pleasure and an inspiration, to be honest with you. He was uh, very enthusiastic with his vlogs. So that's one vlogger that I did meet. I tried to hook up with one in San Carlos, and seemed like our timing has never been exact. Yeah. Sunshine shoulders. Seem we're always off time. I'm either too busy or he's too busy. And I understand the situations on both ends. When I was in Dalmageddon, I wanted to meet Old Dog and Bud Brown, but Bud Brown, he's moved now. But the couple of times I've been down there, Paul was busy and already had plans. Him and his wife, or they had things they were doing, so we couldn't get our time frames together. Of course, being in Dalmageddon at that time, and my timing was limited too, because we had things we needed to do while I was there. It would have been nice to meet him. He's good entertainment. I enjoy his vlogs also. We grow eggplants, peppers. I've tried a few other things. I had some jalapeno peppers, and they didn't bear very many. I ended up with a handful. I love jalapeno, by the way. There's other things that growing that we got banana trees, of course, coconut. I've got one grapefruit tree that will bear 3 or 4 grapefruit a year. I'll hang on to that tree. Hopefully it does better. It's out of the chicken coop now, where we built the coop. And trying to think of some other things that we got growing there. Tried tomatoes, and they just don't do very good here either. Cucumbers, same way. They didn't do good. I even tried watermelon. They'd get up to a certain growth, and they just die out. I don't know if it's the elevation we're at, because we're only... Oh, good morning, Robert. I don't know if it's the elevation we're at, because we're only about probably 50 foot off from sea level, something like that. That might have something bearing with it. I don't know. About the only thing that grows extremely well here is sugar cane. It's all here around me. Well, onions will grow, but only the green onions. I can't get the big-headed onions. Potatoes, they don't do no good here either. I've tried those too. They come up and they get about 6 or 8 inches tall and just wilt up and die. Now I can buy potatoes. It comes from a much higher elevation over where the volcano has been erupting, Mount Camelon. We get some pretty good potatoes from there. Well, business here is very tough, regardless what you get into. I've tried my hand at garlic, and it doesn't do good here at my location. As far as business goes, it depends on your location. Personally here, what I've been doing, and I'm not a big success, but I do get a few extra coins from it. Usually end up about $20 to $30 extra a month with it. Is I sell motorcycle parts, and I got a guy that does the repair work. Then I got a Peso Wi-Fi, which actually pays for my Wi-Fi, and I end up another $20 or $30 over a month's period, which helps us with buying school supplies for the kids. That's what we're doing. Anything extra we make. The chickens right now, we're not even breaking even. I say it'll be another 6 months before I can even break even with the obstacles I've had to overcome. I'm trying to think of any other business that would be anything that would be presentable. Unless you're a major investor, and that would be tough. And a long time getting your money back, which would be like the hotel restaurant business. And it depends on location. You can lose big time on both of those. As far as small things, be diversified and find little things that makes you a few dollars here and there. Of course, you got to watch too. If you're on a tourist visa, you're not allowed to do things like that. You have to get a work visa, or like with me, I'm married. My 13A does allow me to do it. I've got the rat traps, Robert, and actually we got a huge rat this morning. It was as big as one of my cats. I was shocked. No wonder those bucket traps didn't work. They're too big to fall down in it. But anyway, speaking of being able to earn income here, so you got to be very careful. If you get caught up with a visa thing, if they want to be hard nosed, they can deport you. They don't do that very often, but it is still a strong possibility. They will request you to get the proper visa, and they may fine you. I don't know. I've never experienced it, but I do know that you have to have a work visa if you're going to earn money, unless you're married and on a 13A, which will allow you to. Now, personally, I do everything in gracious name because that's the way I wanted it, not because I had to. It's just the way I wanted it. And Grace finally got her tax number after all this time of trying to get it and everything. She found a person that would help her through the process without her having to go to, in our case, Domagati. You have to go to your state, to their capital of the region. And we live in Oriental, and of course you know Domagati's 4 hours away. But everything I read online was not true. You're supposed to be able to go through your local city government and get this. And she had tried several times and it just didn't work. But she found someone that was familiar with the system and she got it done for her. So, personally, Terry, I've not seen any poisonous snakes in my area. I've seen 2 pythons and I think 1, maybe 2 rat snakes. The 2 pythons, the locals killed, and one of them had 2 chickens in it. but and they were huge. One was probably 12 foot long. The other one was probably at least 10. Now the rat snakes I seen, they were probably between 4 and 5 foot. They weren't super huge, but they're big snakes. That's over the course of 8 years here local in this house. I don't know if there's poisonous snakes in my area. I've not seen any, not heard anybody talk about them. But they are poisonous snakes in the Philippines. I do know I've seen where they were in Minido, they've had the Philippine cobra snake. And those are highly poisonous. To be honest with you, there's not a lot of wildlife here local. I see some small birds, sparrows, occasionally a different breed of bird. I can't remember the breed of it, but they're black and red. Then there are also the ewe. They're pretty abundant. Well, good morning. From CDO, thank you. Beautiful morning here this morning. How's the weather in CDO this morning? Yeah, we had a nice cool night here. We had showers most of the night. I woke up this morning, quite cool. Yeah, I've got a rooster over here. That's a local native rooster. And woke up to a nice cool morning. Yes, I still do that. I give them what you call codes that they can type in and get the Wi-Fi free. If they're using it for school purpose, I hand it out on a regular basis. I try to keep about 20 of them handy, so when I see them, I can give it to them so they can get their homework done. Now, if they're just playing games, no. Somebody do something with that rooster for me, please. Not even our chicken, it's one of the locals' chickens. Young rooster. Yeah, they normally don't not disturb him. Yeah, I think he knows I'm trying to do a live video. He wants to be on camera. Well, guys, I'm gonna try to keep this right about an hour. We've got about looks like about 13 minutes left. And, I'm gonna try to do this more often. And, I may try to. Personally, I like the black axolotls. And the Rhode Island Reds, they've got more of an aggressive attitude, but I don't have anything really negative to say about them. As far as friends goes, I've got to see 1, 2, 3. I can count them all in one hand. Most of my friends that I actually used to visit and so forth, I only got one, I think. One that's living. The rest of them passed away on me. And most of them were younger than me. So I'm very limited on expat friends. Mark was one that passed away, and John, and Steve, and another Mark. The list goes on and on over the years. That's another thing, folks. If you come here, you plan on making a life here, and you plan on making this your final place, do your best to make arrangements where you don't leave a burden on someone. I'm doing life.
I know. Because I'm going to wrap the candies ba? It's okay? Not take a nap yet?
No,
Okay.
no. And say hello.
I can see the screen. Look at that. You can see it's black,
Yeah, I know.
your phone.
Let's see if I get the camera to come
I
on.
use this one. I bought this one in Lazada. This is where I put the candies
Oh, okay.
for the kids ba?
Gracie.
So you not take a nap yet so that I can...
Yeah. You can bag it all up. I'll delay my little nap. And
It's 100 pieces in here.
yeah, Gracie's gonna put some treats together for the kids.
Yeah. Ready for the 20.
What day we doing this on?
The 20. Because tomorrow Virgil have a... What's that? For Prince and Princess.
Yeah. Doing the handover.
Yeah, handover. And they have some activity in the school for the Christmas demonstration. So it's their last day tomorrow in the school. So I'll be go inside, okay?
Okay.
Love you.
Love you. Yeah, that's my busy little wife. Trying to get things prepared. Well, to be honest with you, most of them are buried here. Very rarely are anybody sent back because to take a body back from this country, very, very complicated and expensive. I don't know the exact procedure. Now, families are made aware of it if the death is reported to the U.S. Embassy here, or if families have communication with the families abroad, and that's what they do tell them about. So, now, if someone comes here and doesn't have doesn't communicate with their families and so forth, and happens to pass away, it could be difficult. They might go months, even years, without knowing that they have a family member pass. Over the years that I've been here, uh, all the expats that I knew, their wives or girlfriends actually done the proper thing and had notified the families, the U.S. Embassy, which the embassy notified the families. And I'm sure there's been cases where not so. And if your body is not claimed, I don't know how true this is, but from my understanding, after a period of time, you're put into a. I've got a 13A. My visa's a 13A. It's a marriage visa. Your body could be put into a mass grave. Yeah, that's my understanding. But like I said, I mentioned it earlier. People should make proper arrangements and don't leave a burden on your Filipino girlfriend, fiance, or wife. I've had to help several of my expat friends' wives with final arrangements. And that's taken away from my family. And I'm not being negative. I do it again. But it's a situation which makes it hardship on Grace and I. And we got a heart, and we just couldn't see uh, anyone being just put in a mass grave. So that's the reason I have a strong suggestion. Make sure you take care of things, please. Oh, my nose is tickling. Yeah, I don't know what happened to new modem. It worked great yesterday, and it's going back into failure again, and I don't know why. I've had it too long to return it, and the supplier has been trying to help me, but I got a feeling that it's got an internal problem, probably a processor or something. It's a Tesla, an Australian unit. Of course, it's built in China, quite honestly. And it's built good. I've had the cover off, and I'm impressed. But and when it worked, I was really happy with it. So, getting signal here, cell signal at my house, uh, usable signal for internet, I have to use a parabolic antenna and very highly directional. And it takes a little dialing it in to get the signal properly. and the towers so far away, you can't get a full scale signal. If I can get between 50 and 60%, I can get decent internet, which I did. The modem worked beautifully for about a month, and I was almost ready to get rid of my fiber. That's how fast it was. It's 3 or 4 times faster than my fiber. I'm limited to 30 megs up and down on my fiber. And this thing here was hitting speeds of 170 plus, and the speeds of the upload was a little slower, 20 to 25. Of course, during peak hours, it would drop down like 40 megs and 5 or 10 up. But still, better than the fiber overall. And then it just suddenly decided it didn't want to function. It went in, and then they started working again here the last couple of days. Now it's down again this morning. Wow. 10 foot. Really? That's not too bad, Robert. The two I've seen here were a little larger than that. That one, like I said, was probably 11, 12 foot. And the other one was good 14 foot. And the 14 footer was the one that had 2 chickens in it. When they cut it open, it had 2 whole chickens. Now the pythons are not poisonous, and personally, I wouldn't kill one of them. Figured that. That's what they do here. They eat anything that moves. That's why there's no wildlife nearby. Personally, it'd be hard for me to eat snake. The only way I could is not know about it. Oh, excuse me just for a moment, please. Come back. Apologize for that. You know, I could show you guys my baby chicks if you're interested. Anybody interested? Thank you for the information. Okay, we'll do it then. Hang in there. Let's see if I can get my camera flipped around, if it'll allow me. That way I can... Yep, you're correct. I love the leg. Now we have some huge bullfrogs in my part of the country. I'll turn the light on and make this a little easier to see them, because it's dark inside the box. Look at all my babies. Look at that, guys. I know some of the ponds in Kentucky, we have bullfrogs. Oh man. It's hard to describe the size of them. About the size of a good, almost size of a plate. They were huge. And we go what they call gigging. I'll give you guys a little tour around the place. In the distance is where the chicken coop is. And this is some of the flowers that's around our house. Just near blooming. And that's across the view there. Behind those mountains, there's another range of mountains. And that's where the volcano is. That's been erupting here lately. And out back is my neighbor, which has a motorcycle repair shop. And it's my boy's little miniature tool table that I purchased. Good entertainment. And this is the other side here. This is our creek. They call it a river. Our banana trees and coconut trees and everything is available. And during the renovation, we've killed a lot of our stuff that we had growing here. I'll step down here and give you an idea. Now this is the Peso Wi-Fi, the back side of it. And that's what it looks like on the front side. Sorry about all the shaking. And that's our little van. We put new tires on it yesterday. Also, I had to put a new battery in it. That's the old battery. And there we go. That was the short tour. Well, you had a fair share of raising chickens. Did you ever have a rat problem? Here in my house, personally, no. Termites has not been an issue at my house. You would think so in the beginning there that we had so much wood. Now, all my roof rafters and everything is wood, but I pre-treated those with a mix of used motor oil and diesel when this house was built. So we've not had no issues. All these columns here on this porch, I've got 3 of them, and also throughout the house, they are wood, and no problem, and no issue. So I've been very fortunate with that. The only thing we have had a problem with, and it's a constant battle, which I'm sure anywhere you live you have that, is ants. Very disturbing sometimes, especially when we're trying to incubate eggs. When they get ready to hatch, they start peeping, and we have to be very cautious to keep a good eye out, because those ants will get inside those eggs and kill the chicks. I've had several happen that way. This last batch I kept a real close eye on, and what I've done is transfer the ones that are peeping from one incubator to the next one. and make sure there's no ants inside. So that worked out quite well this time. I've had more success hatching of chicks this time around too. I ended up more black axolot uh, than before. Of course, I do have finally hens that are mature enough to lay eggs. That's one of the biggest difference. And we should have more hens coming of age uh, here soon. Uh, he's today. He messaged me. He's going through another treatment today. Uh, his spirits are up and down, and I can understand that. It can be frustrating not being able to do some of the things you're used to in life. And I know he wanted to be here this time of year so much, and I feel for him. I wished there was more I could do for him because he's a great person. I do my best to try to keep him in good spirits from my end uh, because I know he's going through a tough time, and it's the isolation and not being be able to socialize. It's hard. It's tough, and I understand that. I experienced that with my own son when he was 5 years old. My oldest son in Kentucky. He's 37 now, thanks to my being so on top of everything during his treatments. Yeah, I wish Lee the best. Thank you very much, Nick. Thank you so very much. And welcome aboard. I'm glad you're online and see my live video. To everybody that's here, thank you so very much. Excuse me. Now, if anybody has any questions, again, I do my best to answer and be honest about it, or give you an opinion, or whatever. Well, good morning.
Ice.
Ice. And we sell a little ice here too, by the way. That helps offset some of the expenses of the deep freeze and so forth. The good thing about ice here, even during brownouts, we can provide ice. I just wish that I could upgrade my solar to make it more capable, but that's in the far future right now. Got too many things going on that I need to take care of first. When you're on a limited income, you just have to plan things to where it fits. And with Grace and I, we do everything we can to also with our community to keep things going smoothly and making sure that we touch base with people that we know are in need. Oh, by the way, speaking of that, I swear I hate when I draw blanks. The young man that God, I hate when I do that. I guess it's part of getting old. I see a FaceTime pull a name out. I know it well. But anyway, the kid, he made a sure that we knew what he when we gave him one of my subscribers donated to him. Thank you, Robert. Had sent money for him to help support him a little bit, and he made a special trip here. Yeah, Gino, thank you, Nick. Oh gosh, I hate it when I do that. But thank you so very much. Anyway, Gino made a special trip here to show his new shoes and uniforms and the school supplies he bought. He was so happy. Yeah. I need people like you, Nick, to keep my brain fresh. Nick's online.
Yeah.
Grace is here.
Hi, Sir Nick. I've been busy packing the treats for the kids. Need to finish it before Friday. I've been so busy, and friends and Lee has been chatting with me. Lee wants to buy that remember where we put the stove, the gas range.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gonna buy that one, so that the one we bought yesterday is just separate.
Yeah.
It's not on the way, but or the cook.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna measure it downstairs
Okay.
if it's exact, if it's fit.
Okay. Okay.
We already packed the rice and the candies and the biscuit. I'm gonna pack it.
You know what I like
morning.
about this live video? You can actually switch your camera back and forth on this one.
Really?
Yeah.
So right now I'm gonna go downstairs and measure it.
So you got a tape measure down there?
I think we all have.
You want to take this one just in case?
Yeah.
I try to keep a tape measure handy.
My back is disturbing. This morning it's pain, very pain. Back pain.
Mayang buntag from Robert.
Mayong buntag, Sir Robert.
Pete's hands don't work as good as they used to. I seen where you wanted me to build.
I'll be back, okay? I'm gonna try to measure the...
Okay. Busy little lady. Yeah, my hands don't work like they used to. I miss being so active at doing things. Guys, you just don't know. All my life, I've always had some kind of activity with my hands, building things, making things, repairing things. And when things become limited, what you can do, eyesight for another thing, especially with electronics, you know, that was one of my hobbies. It's difficult to try to overcome being depressed about it. But I think positively, there's a lot of things I can still do, and I appreciate it. I can still walk around. Not very good. I can't get around. That's another thing. I don't think I've mentioned it, but I got vertigo. And that makes things difficult. And uncomfortable. Oh yeah, I've built a house, Scott. Our house is built, and we actually did remodeling or renovation last year. We got rid of all the interior and exterior wood and changed it to hardy flex or hardy board, which terminology fits. And I'm very happy with the end results. I didn't use the cheapest version of it. I used the mid-grade, which is a little thicker. I didn't go to the thickest because budget-wise, but it is very good. Now you're right, Robert. The mind is willing, but the body says no. My mind is willing to do a lot of things, and sometimes I forget to start doing something. I did manage to do the modification on Virgil's little pool table. It was only a cheap table to begin with, but it was not firm enough, and it was not solid enough. And I managed to improve that dramatically. I bought some one-by-ones. Most of it's mahogany, and the other type of wood is jasmine. And I've done some added support, and it's made a big difference. Especially playing on it, it made a big difference. But what can I expect for $40? And I spent another $5 in material reinforcing it. So he's having entertainment. I have entertainment. Of course, I can't play like I used to. When you got one eye, and your whole life you're left eye dominant, that's the eye you lose. Big difference. But I can still shoot left-handed. I was surprised with that. I'm 68, and I managed to retire at 50 due to a lot of medical problems this year. Yeah, it's from China. And for 3 years, I spent time unloading debts, selling things off before I came here. I spent 7 years before I actually made the step here. I was 53 when I arrived here. And be honest with you, when I stepped off that plane, my feet, my ankles, my wrist, I looked like something deformed. I was afraid Grace would run from me. We try to keep our budget around 1,800. Used to be able to do it for a whole lot less, but the price of everything has gotten up. Food is our main expense. Of course, now I don't feed more than just me and Grace and Virgil. We do our mom and sister and grandmother and neighbors and so forth. So that's another reason our food budget's way up there. Then we got the cost of electricity. Even though I got solar, it's went up. Thank you, Terry. That has helped dramatically, but it's still not enough. I'm still hitting $100 a month on the electricity. But without the solar, I'll be hitting probably $250, $300 on the average. It's very expensive here. Right at a little over 17 pesos a kilowatt. That's roughly 34 cents a kilowatt. Yeah, it was a great year to be able to do a change in life. I didn't want to, because I was a workaholic. Give you an example. I only slept 2 hours a night at the most. On a rare occasion, I would get 3, because I was burning the candle at both ends. Not only did I work a full-time job, I worked full-time at home. I don't know if it's going to be anytime soon getting money rise. I don't have the watch time hours. So That's the issue now. I got the subscribers. I just need the watch time. Maybe doing these live videos might help. Hopefully, I'll start doing more of these uh, when I can, when I have the time, like this morning. Even though I have my limited capabilities, I do stay busy and I do things. Oh. And my biggest drink here in the Philippines that I drink mostly, guess what? It's water. I drink a lot of water throughout the day. Of course, I have, on most mornings, I have my 2 cups of coffee. Yes, I do. Thank you very much, Mr. Somebody. I have to admit, I've got a wonderful life. And I'm one of the few that realizes I do. Some people have only one mission in life, and that's to complain. Yeah, I could complain about things. That's not going to make me happy. Yeah, a bottle of water, Robert. Uh, but I'd rather work on things that are positive. I get more thrill, to be honest with you, than helping others. Emergency fund, I don't have that much in my emergency fund, but I recommend a minimum of 50,000. Should have at least 100,000. But an emergency fund you do need, because here hospitals you pay up front. And if you have anything major, you could eat 50 grand up fairly quick. Heart attack, stroke, accidents, surgery of some sort, appendicitis, USD. 50,000 in pesos will cover minor. Now, I've been fortunate. I've been hospitalized once. And at that time, I was under my wife's Phil Health plan. This is before the changes. And it covered at least 80% of my bill. And I spent a week in the hospital. And, of course, we're talking about 120,000 pesos, which is a little over $2,000. At that time, about $2,200. And Phil Health picked up the biggest tab of it. I ended up paying about almost 30,000 pesos out of pocket. Now, if that same thing was to happen, it'd be the reverse or worse. Phil Health does not cover much at all. Grace's mother was just in the hospital. Give you an example. Her bill was around a little over 30,000, and we ended up paying about 27K pesos. And Phil Health only paid, I think, almost 5,000 pesos. So there've been major changes with Phil Health, even for Filipino. Now, we're blessed. When Virgil was born, Grace was in the hospital twice, and it covered a lot of expenses. And Phil Health doesn't know how much I appreciated that. Because that was I do that. I got platforms underneath, or plant for the pots. I use those bottom trays to put underneath the legs of the incubators, and I do that. It helps, but they still manage to find a way in. The ants do. I'm switch subjects all of a sudden because I'm replying to a question. Yeah, well, subscribers are, viewers are dropping down. So I guess upon that, if no one has any questions, my actual year model of the van is a 2009. Here in the Philippines, it's registered as a 2022, I think. They call it a year model 2022. I've owned it personally for 3.5 years, and it's got 240,000 kilometers on it, which is roughly what 30,000 miles, something like that. That's another reason you won't find part stores here with using part numbers. Because if you try to use the year model and you go by your registration, it's just now starting showing signs on the roof rack. And I think that's where I chipped the paint with the roof rack. When it was reassembled, they did a good job at rust proofing. They stripped it down to bare metal and primered and rust proofed. They did a good job. That's another thing too. If you're going to buy one of those little vans, do your research on the assembler before you make the final purchase. The assembler is the key. Get someone that's reliable, that will honor what they say, because you will have issues with these vans because they're used. You know, even though they're first time registration here in the Philippines, they have been solely used. And you will have wear out and problems. Mainly suspensions, brakes, one thing or another. Yeah, I had it custom made for me, yeah. There's a few things I had changed, color wise, the type of paint I wanted. I want to make sure it's your thing. The rear seats, the boxes, the device for the engine to run after you turn the key off for the turbo to cool it down. Mine is turbocharged. Trying to think of some of the other things I had done. I got to choose the wheels I wanted on it, the rims. Now I recommend, if you plan on one of these, if you're going to be off the road any at all, tell me you want to lift that van up at least 1.5 inches. Because mine was too low, and I actually ripped a hole in my transmission pan, which I got it fixed. I couldn't get a replacement pan, but I got it fixed. But it was disturbing because getting a new gasket had weight on it. It's not locally available. And gasket maker, I don't like for a transmission pan because you're between aluminum and a metal pan, and they expand and contract at, during warm up and cool down at different rate. You know, the aluminum expands faster than the aluminum doesn't expand as fast as the metal pan. Tongue twister. Now mine is an all-wheel drive. I would have liked to have had it where it was switchable from 4-wheel to 2-wheel, but my understanding is that's a limited option. I think they are available, but they're few and far between. Now there's newer models available now. I think they're called DA17s. I've not got to experience one of them yet, so I can't tell you much about it. Now parts became more available for mine since I've owned it, especially in the new parts, which I prefer. The CV joints, for one thing, I finally got new, and that was one thing that made me happy because it, like I said, I already changed them twice with used. They try to make you think surplus is better, but it's used parts, and they're going to have similar mileage on them, so you're going to have similar problems. They are wire items, and those items are set up for roughly between 150 to 200,000 kilometers, or 100 to 120,000 miles. I have never left the Philippines since I've been here. I've not had a real reason to, and um, I've not had a real reason to go back to the States other than my kids. Uh, but I've been able to FaceTime with them, so that's kind of an offset. Now, if you plan on coming here to live here, I know some of the vloggers try to make this look like it's a dream to come to. Everybody's going to have different challenges, and you must have patience and be prepared for it. It's not going to be everything hunky-dory. Like I said, it's different for everybody. Fortunately, I had a lot of assistance with my wife. She did a lot of research, and she has really made a difference. And not everybody's going to have that same experience, and I know that. So prepare yourself and don't lose your cool. Just be patient and take your time. So folks, I'm going to call it a day. Well, I've not been bored since I've been here. I always find ways to make myself unbored. Now, some do it in a way I don't approve of, but that's their lives, and I can't make choices for them. Some people have, like to gamble. Some people like to drink. Some people like to womanize. Keep them getting bored. Personally, I've got other things to entertain me. As far as drinking goes, I keep it at a bare minimum. I will do that. Thank you very much. Trying to figure this out. But everybody take care, and I'll try to do this again soon. So if I can figure out how to stop the live stream. Y'all take care now, and come back again soon.